Que Pasa Calexico. Welcome back to the podcast. Like always, before we begin, I want to thank a couple of people. I want to thank my anchor sponsors, Camilo, Jake, Edward, John Cabrera from AmeriCorp, Eddie Lopez from Roots Creative, Ms. Norma Sierra Galindo. I want to thank my friends at Sergio's Tacos and Hotdogs. With 8 years of serving the Imperial, San Diego, and Yuma counties with Mexicali-style hot dogs and taquizas. Make sure you contact Sergio. His phone number is 562-0057 or follow Sergio's Tacos and Hot Dogs on Facebook. Finally, I want to thank David Gastelum. If you're thinking of buying or selling a home in the Imperial or San Diego counties, make sure you contact David. He's not only a realtor, but an investor with over 20 years of experience, and he'll teach you along the way in one of the most important investments of your life. So make sure you contact David. His phone number is 760-235-9576, or just look for David Gastelum on Facebook. Today, I have a couple of guests today. They are Imperial Valley natives. They, live here most of their lives, I believe. So, but they've been working together for a long time. They were working. They owned a comic book store here and it was in Calexico for a while. Now it was in Central for a while. MetaHumans. My guests today are Ruben Najera and Sheyla Valencia. Thank you guys for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Today, you guys are here to talk about project you guys are working on. It's really it's something. Yesterday, I was talking to my family about my guest today, and we're talking about the project you guys are working on, and being so close to that issue that we're going to talk about today. They didn't really know about it, and they were surprised that this was going on, like really, really close to us, and we don't talk about it. Many of us don't even know about it, but you guys decided to write a book to bring awareness to this issue. Can you tell us a little bit about what we're going to talk about today, and then we'll get into your book?
Yeah, so the book is called Chiquita Vaquita, and essentially the book is a children's book that we work together. Sheyla and I kind of call this like our pandemic project, because we literally worked on this all year. Like the second the pandemic dropped and we were going to be bottled indoors, we both, she's an amazing illustrator and I've been writing all my life. So we just knew we were going to collaborate on something. And this project, without question, was going to be first because of how dire and time sensitive it is, And so it was very easy to make the decision that this was the project that we were going to do. If we, without question, I mean, it was easy to understand that this was where we were going. And we aimed to make it a children's book because Sheyla said it before, but the kids are the future, you know what I mean? And they are the ones that are going to make the further impact, and they can influence the parents, and they can influence the aunts and the uncles and the grandmas and the grandpas and the brothers and the sisters, you know what I mean? And that can create movement, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just the truth, So and also they are the future. So you impact them, they grow up in a way, Sheyla and I, we love animals, and growing up, kindness to animals would lead us to understanding that as an adult as well, you know what I mean? And if we go really deep, it stems back to, for me at least, Sheyla has a different upbringing story to how animals impacted her. But for me, I think back to when I was really young, and I saw, I used to have these junior zoologists file cards, this green box. I don't know if it was National Geographic or what, but they would have stats on all these animals, and I would read the heck out of those things. And I love going to the zoo. And but one of the things that always impacted me when I first saw it, and for those of you that have seen it out there, there's this black and white video of a Tasmanian tiger walking around in a cage, and it's one of the last videos of it, or if not the last video of it. And I remember seeing that and thinking wow, I know this is just a clip. Some people might just think oh, look, that's what it looks like. But I'm looking at that clip wow, this is the last video ever taken of an animal. And then it's died and it's gone forever, ever. You know what I mean? So that was deep for me. It was wow, I can't believe that is the last remnant of that animal, and that to live on this earth and see things die around us and not really take some kind of action. I just And with the vaquita, it affects me a lot because this thing is literally off the coast of Mexico. And being Mexican American and growing up, being back and forth in Mexicali and in Calexico and El Centro and Pura Valley, like this thing is a lot more deep within our roots than some people realize. So this is almost like this is like our mascot, you know what I mean? He's just dying there, you know what I mean? Like it's sad, and we can't physically be over there to like, you know, save the like that really good documentary called Sea of Shadows. You see them when they actually save a vaquita, but it dies even when in captivity because everything is just so fragile in the situation there in the ecosystem. Like, and like, I mean, it's just like we can't physically be there to like save it. So like Sheyla and I felt like we need to do something in this world, and so awareness is the greatest thing we can do. And this children's book is going to spread a lot of awareness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Even if it's a small way, we're doing our part. And we're doing something about it, you know, and anyone that pledges is also doing something about it, you know, or anyone that just shares or spreads the word is doing something about it. So,
yeah. Do you want to, I don't know if Sheyla or you really want to talk about what the vaquita actually is, kind of describe it and
yeah,
you know, the little bit of history about it?
Yeah, so I'll go ahead. The vaquita marina is a porpoise. Actually, it's not a dolphin or whale. It's a porpoise. It's more or less about 4 feet in length. So they're these really cute, adorable animals. They say that they're described that they have a permanent smile because if you go online and Google vaquitas or vaquita marina, you will see that they have their mouth opens in a way that it goes up. So that's why they say that I have a permanent smile. They live only in the northern part of the Gulf of California in Baja California, Mexico. That's their only home. So that's why it's so important to keep them alive, you know, because they are a big part of our ecosystem. You know, conservation is so important. If you eliminate they're like dominoes, you know, if you, top one off, that everything changes. Everything changes. Even with us, I believe that we're all interconnected, and it's so important to us as it is to them. But yeah, that's what vaquita marinas are.
Okay. Yeah, and it's crazy that, you know, they live. It's like the Sea of Cortez, right where they kind of like hang out.
Yes. In San Felipe.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like I was in San Felipe this past week and I was like, you know, and I don't know, somebody mentioned the totoaba, which is one of the big reasons why the vaquitas is becoming extinct because you know, fishermen throw out nets to catch totoaba, which is also a protective species, right? It's illegal to catch totoaba.
It is illegal to catch totoabas. They are. It actually goes really deep. There's like narco involved and the Chinese traditional market, medicine market. I'm sorry. And there's the Sea of Shadows documentary. If you have a chance to see it, please watch it. I think it's on YouTube. I'm not 100% sure, but I think Ruben knows where it is. It's either Disney Plus.
Yeah, Disney Plus because it's National Geographic, and
Okay.
Disney owns everything.
Pretty much.
Yeah, yeah.
So
it's on there.
So these illegal fishermen try to catch the totoaba fish, and the vaquitas are a bycatch or accidental catch of these gillnets, which the Mexican government actually did ban, but unfortunately a couple of days ago they removed that ban on the safe zone for fishing. So now more than ever, you know, it is crucial to send letters to the government or to people in power that can help us get that ban back in action, so that, you know, the few that are remaining, because that we know of, there's about 10 left, and there is still time. I know that is a very small number, but there is still time based on all the research that we have done.
And it's crazy because I was reading before we started, and even they can kind of say that even before all this was started happening, the population of vaquitas wasn't that big even before they started being trapped in these nets. So, and it might be because of their small area where they live, and I don't know, but yeah, even so, the population of vaquitas was small to begin to it, and now there's only 10. Do you know where these, are these 10 being monitored so that, they can stay alive, or are they in captivity? Do you know?
See, the thing is that they're so elusive and shy that it does make it difficult for them to be tracked. Again, I'm going to reference the documentary. They show that Vaquita CPR, they tried to capture, I'm not sure if it was 1 or 2, but unfortunately the species did not survive. So they had to cancel that and, move towards maybe like educating fishermen on other ways to make a living, because as we all know, we're all connected, and fishermen are creating the problem, not only illegal fishermen, but also the fishermen, by using the gill nets. But there are programs that let you, that are educating the fishermen into, I think I have it written down here, they're implementing like new prototypes of nets that are safer for the animals. I believe they're called suriperas. These are the type of nets that are being tested out there right now with the fishermen that are agreeing to save the vaquitas, or make a living through other ways. But yeah.
and it's also really hard to kind of sway these fishermen to not fish for the totoabas because of the since they're really popular in China and there's a lot of money in between, and then there's, like you mentioned, there's now like drug lords getting involved in all these things. So, I mean, it's super hard for the government or people to kind of sway them away from doing these kinds of things because of the pressure that they're, having because of whether it's, somebody throwing their lives to kind of fish these fishes, or because they need to feed their families, and it's good, easy money for them. So yeah, I understand. Yeah,
exactly. The totoaba is known as the cocaine of the ocean. It does bring in a lot of money for them. I would say enough for them to risk their own lives, like you're mentioning. But that's why it is important to help or donate. And anyway, these organizations that are helping with these net prototypes, or helping educate, or even helping donate funds to these fishermen out there for other alternatives, and thus helping the vaquita marina survive.
Yeah, but keep in mind that the nets that are being used that are killing the vaquita, those are the ones that are being left out there so that the illegals can pick them up overnight. You know what I mean? The illegal trafficking can pick them up overnight, because the regular fishermen during the day, they're doing their thing. You know what I mean? They're fishing for family. They're fishing. Like, if they caught a vaquita on their net, well, they'll be like, get it out, let it go.
Mm.
It's these ones that are legal that are being left there overnight, and like everything's just getting trapped in there. So these animals get stuck in there and they suffocate because they can't come up for air, So they're already doing it wrong. You know what I mean? They're doing it like secretive. So that's why there's like, even in Sea of Shadows, you see footage of like the trafficking, illegal, trafficking, like where they're going into the waters like super late hours of the night, and they're tracking them with like infrared vision and stuff like that. And they're going in there deep through the night to pick up to see what they caught. And then they bounce out, and they roll over there with guns and everything. And it's just a whole thing. It's like it's just turned into a whole thing. And like, yeah, it's just crazy, And then another point, there's only 10 or less left, so they say, but we don't even know the ratio. I don't really hear anyone talk about this, but like, we don't even know the ratio of like male to female. Like, what if we get to a point where we're down at 3 and all 3 of them are females? Yeah. Well, then there's no reproduction anymore. So that means it's over still. Even though you still have 3, it's still over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
To add to that, the today is International Save the Vaquita Day. And I've been active on a lot of groups that scientists are putting up. And I would like to mention something that they mentioned, which is that the few that are left, they are survivors. They are thriving, and they do have calves. But like Ruben is saying, you know, at the end of the day, there's only so few left that we need to take care of these survivors.
Yeah, because it's up to like chance to like say if there's calves there, how many are male, how many are female.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy that, you know, there's only like 10 of them now, and yeah, I don't know, it's just really something that I was reading about today, and you know, we don't know, a lot of people don't know about it, and they don't talk about it, and I feel that, you know, to you guys writing this book, like you said, you're planting a seed on these kids that hopefully, you know, these seeds will grow and something big will come out of your book, Chiquita Vaquita. So, can we talk a little bit about the process of the writing the book and the research? Have you guys talked to, you know, organizations who are working for the Vaquita?
Yeah. So the process of writing the book, well, first off, kind of go with like the style of the book for the, you know, it's the we're self-publishing it. That's why we're running the Kickstarter, and literally the amount that we're asking on the Kickstarter is just enough to get the book printed. So that's why our number's so low compared to a lot of other Kickstarters. It's just because we just want to get it made. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And even to that point, like on Kickstarter, they don't allow you to like put that you're gonna donate or anything like that, you know, or else you'll get that they won't even approve you. That's like one of their policies. But when our Kickstarter ends, like a lot of the excess books, because you have to order a minimum amount of books, we're actually gonna like end up donating a book like per every library we possibly can, you know, not just in the Valley. In the Valley for sure, but others too, just so kids who can come across the book and read it, maybe that becomes their favorite children's book, or it impacts them, you know what I mean? And in future years, as it goes on and on and on, not just the Vaquita, but them seeing a beautiful animal like that, maybe that'll make them want to get into conservation or do something and take steps to help save or spread awareness of another animal that might be endangered, because we don't know how long we have the Vaquita for, but this might, like I said, you know, I saw that video of the Tasmanian tiger back then and it impacted me. That was the first time where I felt like, man, this is sad, you know? It doesn't have to be the same animal to impact you to want to save other endangered species. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're just trying to save what we have here on Earth, what we share here on Earth with, you know? And my process for writing was just like, growing up, I just always thought, like, what did I really like? Like, you know, I know I see that our children's book's not like it's not like, I wouldn't say like beginning reader. Like, what age would you say, Sheyla, more or less? Like, is it, because it's not like see spot run, you know what I mean?
Like
it's not
Dr.
like that.
Seuss kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a little more. The funny thing is I wanted it to rhyme, so it does rhyme. It's got like a beautiful like rhythm to it that goes alongside with like Sheyla's amazing illustrations, you know? So like, I mean, for instance, I'll read like one excerpt from it, you know? Chiquita la Vaquita, a porpoise tried and true, shares our beautiful planet and swims the ocean blue. Chiquita la Vaquita, she knows not what to do. She needs some help from me, and she needs some help from you. So that's just like one page. So that would be like one page. And to add to that, every page has that, but also translated in Spanish.
Oh, cool.
So it's actually a bilingual book. So you're getting like 2 for 1 per book. And then, of course, you get a unique illustration on the right side of you on every page. So that's how the book is set up. And it's also a board book. So it's like those really high-end children's books that are like really hardcover, you know?
Yeah.
So 22 to 24 pages of that. So it is a really, really high-quality book. And the company that's going to be printing it for us, they do stuff for Barnes & Noble and Target. So they have a lot of experience making high-quality books. So this book, when you get it, you're going to be amazed with it. It's going to be a beautiful book, even if it's like what do they call it? Like a coffee table book, just something to like put out. It just looks really great. And Sheyla designed it in this really cool, nice, like golden book style, you know? So it's like 6x6. It's got this really cool look with the binding on it. So it looked like a golden book. Classic, you know?
Yeah.
And Yeah.
So to just add to that, my process in illustrating the book was that I'm going to go a little bit back. I was a child that would always bring stray animals back home. I've always loved animals, always, always, always. And if I would see an animal on the streets wandering alone, I would literally get it and bring it back home, and, I would take care of it and all that. Unfortunately, I guess my mom was never a big fan of cats. So whenever I would bring in cats, and they would start meowing, then my mom would find out, and then she would let them out the door, But I've always been that person, animal lover. So when I saw this documentary, we got in touch and we wanted to make an impact. We wanted to make a difference, even if it's the smallest difference. It is a difference, and that's if you take away anything, take away that. Even the smallest difference is a difference.
Yeah.
So we wanted to target children, and we wanted to make it bilingual because the vaquita lives in the Gulf of California in Mexico, so we wanted to be Spanish. And I designed the book I designed the character in the book, Chiquita, because I wanted her to be so charismatic as they really are when you Google images of them, even though they're images of them deceased, unfortunately, because there's not that many footage out there of them, like you mentioned. I wanted them to fall in love with this character, and the cover of the book, it's very colorful. It grabs your eye, and that was all taken into consideration for both children and adults because we really want to make an impact with this book.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put a link to your Kickstarter on the description of today's episode. That way, awesome. if people want to kind of look at what Sheyla and Ruben are talking about in terms of the art, in terms of how there's English and Spanish, like on the Kickstarter, there's a page with information about the vaquita, and it's both in English and Spanish, and and then for those who want to back the Kickstarter, there's the tiers and how what you'll get with what you sponsor. So and for those people that don't know what Kickstarter is, kind of like a GoFundMe, but it's for people who are trying to make a project, whether it's you want to make a robot and you need some funds. Sheyla and Ruben are making this awesome book, so they need funds to publish the book. So that's you're backing the project, but at the same time you'll get something back. Like I said, there's tiers as to what you sponsor and what you pledge and what you'll get. You can get a postcard, you can get a sticker, a T-shirt. There's different types of rewards you get in terms of what you sponsor. So make sure you go check it out. Like I said, I'm gonna leave it in the description. I'm gonna put it on my Facebook as well. And you can follow Ruben and Sheyla on their Instagrams and Facebooks, and I'm sure you guys have that information there as well. But yeah, it's like I'm looking at the cover right now. And it's really, really cute. The font really catches the eye. The vaquita really has the smile, like you said. She has a smile in her face. It's really, really, really pretty. So yeah, and it's and there's like a video also on the Kickstarter where you guys explain, how and why you're doing this, and it's I really, really think it's like you said, you're doing something that you or somebody else might think it's small, but at the end of the day, you guys are doing something to help this amazing animal, and it's really sad that unfortunately maybe this is the only way kids in the future might know about the vaquita because of the way things are going. It's kind of sad.
Exactly what you said, though. This might be the only, you know what I mean? They might look back on our book and be like, oh, I had this, really beautiful book growing up. And then they look back and they're like, at one point in time in my life when I was that age and I read that book, this marine mammal was alive, and it might push them. So this isn't just about the vaquita, obviously, it's about the vaquita, but it's deeper than that, They'll look at that and think like, that's sad. And then at that point in time in their life, who knows what'll be the next thing that's going extinct. And maybe that'll cause them to be like, well, you know what? I have the power to do something about this, you know? So unfortunately, it's like one of those things, you know, like we see it all the time, you know, you don't see a stop sign in a certain neighborhood until something bad happens, right? Or you don't see them put a stop on a, you know what I mean? Like it takes bad things to happen sometimes for action to be taken, which is unfortunate. But, you know, we hope that by us putting this book out, we're spreading awareness about this beautiful marine mammal and how we might not have it for that long. But it might sound silly to say, but in my opinion, it's not. But us putting this book out, I feel is extending the life of the vaquita. At least, I don't know, maybe Sheyla and I, by doing this, we're adding 2 months to the life of it. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not like, doesn't sound like a lot, but we're doing something, you know what I mean? And awareness and like just becoming a part of that, you know what I mean? That locomotive to move forward, to push change and you know, let the people of the world know. Cause some people don't know. Cause when I first found out, you know, I was like, just shook. I was like, wow, this sucks. You know, this is so close to us. You know what I mean? Like there's parts in Sea of Shadows that take place in Mexicali. You know what I mean? We're talking about San Felipe and like, this is so close to us. You know what I mean? It's like, if more people here knew what was going on, it'd be like, wow, that's crazy. I didn't know about that. And then when you actually see what the vaquita looks like, you feel even worse. You're like, oh my gosh, this thing, like, you know what I mean? It's so like cute and innocent, and like, it's just sad, you know? It's just really, really sad.
And also, like you were saying, you were there last weekend, right? In San Felipe area. I have memories of my childhood vacationing in San Felipe. And that's the thing, like most of us in Imperial Valley or Mexicali Valle, we are all aware of San Felipe in some sort of way. And most of us have been there and have great memories of it. So we really think it's important that especially our area could make a direct impact.
Yeah, because and this might be unfortunate that somehow, some way, you know, we not knowingly we're part of, you know, contributing to this issue, because I don't know, buying something that we didn't know was illegal, like maybe like totoaba or, you know, other things that we don't, you know, we really don't know. So it's really good that we inform ourselves as to, you know, the things going on out there, especially us that we live so close to the border. Because I mean, like I said, we might have contributed somehow, some way to the extinction, or not the extinction, but you know, the problem we're talking about today. And it's crazy that something that I read while I was you know, doing some research was that the vaquita was discovered in 1958, which was like not even that long ago, and yet, you know, where they're at now, it's so sad that like in 60 years we kind of annihilated this species. It's crazy.
Exactly. See, the thing is that during let's say the summer fishing season, there's not only one person out there fishing. There's San Felipe is a fisherman community, you know, so the whole community is out there. So picture yourself taking this trail, and every quarter of a mile you encounter, you know, a wall or a net that if you know, get entangled, you're gonna die. So that's what it is like for them. And that's why it is crucial to get this band of gillnets back on track, and or to implement these other type of nets that are safer for the animals.
Yeah, and I'll say this, I don't think we mentioned this, but as grim as all that sounds, our story is about Chiquita and her perilous journey through, you know, the ocean like that, from her trying to get from her to her family, or the last of her kind. That's what the story's about. But obviously it's a children's book, so we don't get into like a lot of the grim stuff. You know what I mean? It's like a rated G version of it. And basically it's just like with the book more so we show is like we kind of educate in like a rated G version of it like that, but we also like show like you know, we do, you know, like little, you know, other animals, because like the thing is, you know, a lot of people don't talk about, but like there's like turtles that get stuck in those nets, and there's like, you know what I mean, like there's a lot of other things that get stuck in those nets and die because they just get stuck. They can't go up for air, and they weren't meant to be stuck in the net to begin with. And so we just basically show how cute Chiquita is, you know what I mean, how wonderful, you know, those marine mammals are, and how, you know, we shouldn't lose them in this world, and that's kind of how our children's book is. So, you know, Sheyla would illustrate, you know, her perilous journey, and you just kind of follow her along with it, you know. But like I said, just want to put that out there, so because it is a children's book and the topic can get pretty grim, but we obviously don't. It's the book's not grim, you know what I mean?
Yeah, hopefully
it's positive.
Hopefully, getting, you know, kids to read it will entice the parents to kind of like do their own research, and then have them really see the grim part of what's going on out there.
It's not like that,
yeah.
And to go back a little bit to the Kickstarter, the Kickstarter is we wanted to make it very accessible, right? So there's a button that you can just donate. Literally just donate $1, whatever you can, $1. But there's the tiers like you were mentioning. And we wanted to make it so accessible that even doing the sacrifice of one day of not buying your coffee or your tea or your beer or whatever it is, you know, preference that you have to buy, even just sacrificing that for one day and donating $3, $6 will get you something, and thus help us to bring this book into life.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the tiers are, I'm looking at them in like 3, 6, 15, 30, and it goes all the way up to 800. And if you get the 800, if you pay 800, you get to be a character in the book. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, you literally, so the book is done, but we left 2 pages at the end a little bit empty in case if anyone, you know, pledges to be a character. Sheyla will actually like draw the character. So if you want like a niece, a nephew, a son, a daughter, you know what I mean? Or if you want yourself in there, like you could like be a you know, conservationist, or you can be a you know, free, you know what I mean? Like save the vaquita, you know what I mean? So there's a cool little thing. We just thought it'd be fun to add in there, whether someone pledges that or not, like it's there, and that's like a cool bonus.
Yeah.
Then if you go all the way back down to even on the 30 pledge where you get the book, we don't just give you the book. We thought a lot of times, a lot of Kickstarters, they just give you the item and that's it. We thought it'd be cool to give you like a whole bundle. So when you pledge for the book, you actually get the postcard, the sticker, the book. You get a digital PDF of the book. You could share 2,000 times if you wanted to. And you get a printable coloring sheet, like one that a unique vaquita graphic that Sheyla made that you'll be able to print out as many times as you want and color it in like a coloring book, you know? So you get all that just for pledging for the book at 30. But most importantly, like Sheyla said, like we're just thankful for anyone that pledges anything. You could even pledge $1 and we're happy because that's just helping with the effort and the movement. And like I said, our goals aren't that crazy. It's just enough just to get the book published. If we go more, fantastic, you know. But if not, and we just hit our goal, we're more than happy because that accomplishes the mission, you know what I mean, of just getting it out there and printed. Because like I said, the company that has the books for us to print, they have a minimum that we have to hit in order for them to even want to print it. Because of this, it's a board book style. So when we do that, we will obviously have more copies than what were pledged will be left with that. And then those copies, we're going to donate a lot of them to different libraries. So like one to like the El Centro Library, one to like Cabrera and Calexico, another one to Brawley, you know what I mean? Like, and then so on and so forth, Orange County, San Diego. And so you'll get all these like libraries that have the book as well. And kids who couldn't get someone to pledge to get them a book could come across it, you know, new arrival, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, Chiquita Vaquita, oh wow, and they open their, oh, I love this, you know, like, and then they start to learn about it, and I'm not kidding, the chain reaction goes from there, you know what I mean?
And to add to that, speaking of the last year, imagine you're a child and your grandmother or parent or aunt, whatever, pledges to the last tier.
Oh yeah,
immortalizes you on our book. Imagine then your friends going to the library, picking the book, and you're there.
That's
what a fruitful gift that would be, not only to the child, to the parent, to the animals and to us and helping us bring this book to life.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, but once you got them printed, are you gonna be able to? Those gonna be on sale as well?
Yeah. So, we're gonna make an assessment of how many libraries we're gonna donate to, and then we'll see what we're left with, and then we'll see if we can possibly do some mode of like an online for the, because at that point we're gonna have a very limited amount of copies. You know, when we reach that point, so it will end up being like, whatever is left, that'll be like, this is all that's left stock if you really want one. You know what I mean? So the way to really guarantee yourself one is essentially to just pledge, you know? And another thing too is like, some people that aren't aware how Kickstarter works is like, if you were to pledge today, it actually doesn't charge you anything. We actually have to hit our goal, and the project amount of time has to expire, like the month, for it to even begin to start to charge you. You know what I mean? So for those that like see it right now and maybe like, you know, they didn't get their paycheck in, or they have to wait 2 weeks or whatever, like you can actually just still pledge and it won't charge you anything unless the project actually goes through. So that's another cool thing about Kickstarter, you know?
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
And like Sheyla said, at $3, usually campaigns don't really give you anything for $3 or $6. It's like, oh, they just say thank you. We're like legit mailing you out a sticker or a postcard. We wanted to make sure everybody got something. And then the purpose for the PDF at 15 is so that anyone like in Switzerland or Australia or anyone who wants to get that, they can still have the book in a digital format. Maybe they want to open it on their iPad or something like that, you know? Yeah,
for sure. All right, guys, is there anything else that you guys want to talk about, that any closing thoughts that I didn't you know, ask you or talk about?
I mean, my closing thought is I just want to say just thank you to anyone that supports it. You know, Sheyla and I were born and raised in Imperial Valley. You know, we live in Imperial Valley. Like, we've lived in other counties before in our lives, but ultimately, you know, we've come back. We live here. You know, I have a business here in the valley. So like I'm proud of where we're from. You know, and I just want to. I love our community, and anyone that supports. I just want to say, you know, from bottom of Sheyla and I's heart, just want to say thank you. And if you can't pledge, like I said, it's okay. Please share. That's kind of like pledging, you know, just share it, because it accomplishes two things. Maybe somebody else that you share it with actually pledges, right? But number two, even if you share and you don't pledge and they share and they don't pledge, guess what? You spread awareness already. So like that's our biggest part of the mission. You know what I mean? It's just because that's one extra person that's like, oh wow, I didn't know this was going on. That sucks, you know, like, oh, that's crazy, or that's sad, or I can't believe this, or you know what I mean? And it fuels a fire in some people sometimes, you know what I mean? And that's the biggest thing with us. You know, it's just getting awareness out there. And again, that's the main purpose of putting our book out.
Yeah, and the same for me. I was actually going to say, if you can't pledge, just share everywhere. Share in your social medias, share in your stories as a post, share with your families, friends, anybody that you know. Just share it if you can pledge, you know. But yeah, and thank you for giving us this space and time.
Yeah, thank you, Jose.
Just share it.
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure. I really enjoyed talking to you guys, and especially, you know, for such a great cause. Like I said, it's crazy to think that in like 60 years we've come to this point with this beautiful animal, and you know, it's crazy that a lot of us don't talk about it, or don't even know about it. Like I said, I was talking to friends and family yesterday about it, and they were like surprised that this was even a thing. And yeah, it's sad that future generations might not have a chance to see one of these in real life, and you know, maybe this book might be the last place they'll see one, and it's kind of sad and daunting, and you know, and it's awesome that you guys decided to do something about it and bring awareness. And yeah, I thank you for it.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you stay safe. And yeah, keep washing those hands. Wear your face mask. And yeah, be safe. All right, guys.
Thank you.